And now moving to Australia, where Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is making waves, not with policy, but with property. As the country grapples with a housing crisis and skyrocketing living costs, Albanese has splurged on a clifftop mansion worth a cool $2.9 million. While millions of Aussies are struggling to find affordable homes, their leader kicks back with panoramic views on the Central Coast. Critics say it's a move that's out of touch and tone deaf, but Albanese insists he knows what it's like to struggle. Here's more on the story.
The optics couldn't be worse. As we kick off 2026, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese isn't just fighting a rental crisis, he's fighting a perception crisis. While the average Australian renter is scrambling to find an extra $100 a week just to keep their keys, the PM has been finalising a clifftop mansion. But it's not just the purchase that has people fuming, it's the math. New data for January 2026 reveals that while the PM tells you relief is on the way, his own property portfolio is generating nearly double the rental income of the average Australian landlord. This disconnect is creating a political heat that is starting to boil over into the Senate. How can a leader fix a market that is making him personally wealthier every single month?
This argument is obvious. Of course, more people you bring in, the harder it is to find houses for everyone. But the government has never admitted it. So, no, it's a supply issue. It's a supply issue, not a demand issue, whatever the hell that means. But anyway, now the government's National Housing Supply and Affordability Council has put out this report, the State of the Housing System. It's an annual report, and it spills the beans in this graphic of future demand for houses, showing that if immigration was 15% lower than is predicted, and that is the bottom line, 15% lower than the government wants, then we will have an extra 40,000 or so homes over the next 4 years available to Australians. And 40,000 more homes? That's got to help, doesn't it?
Andrew Bolt is highlighting the mathematical wall the government has hit. Albanese promised a national housing accord to build 1.2 million homes. Well, it's 2026, and the report card is in. We are currently short by 60,000 dwellings. The government's plan to cut migration in January was supposed to be the pressure release valve. But you can't fix a supply problem by just slowing down demand if the construction industry is effectively paralysed. High material costs and a shortage of skilled trades mean that for every 3 people arriving, we aren't even finishing one new apartment. The result? A vacancy rate that has collapsed to 1% in Sydney and Melbourne. This isn't a pressure point, it's a breaking point.
That the line for rental queues gets longer, the line for a home to buy gets longer. The federal government gets to pat itself on the back because we've got a budget surplus, but you are competing with more people than ever before to have a roof over your head. But nothing to see here. We've got a plan. Well, the plan isn't working.
Highest rent increases in history. That is the phrase that will haunt the Labor Party throughout 2026. We are seeing a historic shift where generation rent is no longer just university students, it's families, essential workers, and now, even retirees. Albanese is facing a Senate revolt from the Greens who are demanding a total freeze on rents and a scrap of negative gearing. If he moves to help renters, he risks a backlash from the 66% of Australians who own property. If he does nothing, he loses the youth vote entirely. The heat isn't going away because the math doesn't work. Stay tuned, because the February RBA meeting and the upcoming budget will be the final stand for this government's housing policy. Don't forget to subscribe as we track these numbers week by week.